Nerubians, abominations, and bear sharks, oh my, it's a brand new episode of the Salty Dog Podcast. I'm Clash, he's Dookie. Welcome to episode 17 of the Salty Dog Podcast.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming.
Yes, indeedy. We are excited today, as I'm sure everyone who plays this wonderful game is right now.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
The card dump is upon us. We're getting all the juicy new cards in, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. We're finally, the staleness of Ungoro has definitely set in for months now, and it's time to see some new shit.
Bad though, really, honestly. I'm totally ready for the new expansion, but as compared to the MSG blues, by midway through and nearing the end, Ungoro has stayed way fresher, I think.
Yeah, I hate it when I eat Chinese food and there's too much MSG.
MSG. Yeah,
definitely gives me the
MSG
blues.
almost gave you the same feeling, honestly. After the initial shock wore off, but I don't know. Ungoro's been good, and I hope we're in for the same treatment with Frozen Throne.
Yeah, so far looks promising.
Yes.
That's I think mainly what we're going to be doing on this episode is just talking about everything that's been revealed and what we think about it, because that's what's new. That's what everyone wants to talk about. And they've been leaking cards like crazy. So
yeah, I think we have something like 24 to go over today, and we're gonna spend the majority of the show just focusing on that. I mean, that's definitely what everyone's excited about. And also, of course, we're gonna cap the show off with our card submission challenge, as we always do. Mm-hmm. So we have quite a few cards to read for you guys today. But first, let's talk about some of the other stuff that they've actually revealed about Knights of the Frozen Throne and other things that are coming just besides the cards with this in our news segments.
What's happening?
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Time is money, friend. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
Alright, so of course, the big thing, something we haven't seen before. Well, we've kind of seen it. They used to be called adventures, but now they're rolled right into new expansions, and it's going to be single-player missions. And this we're getting these for the first time with Knights of the Frozen Throne, which is very exciting.
I mean, it's basically the same thing as an adventure, but I guess they can't call it an adventure because an adventure was its own thing. So
Right. Yeah. I believe that they're going to be set up much the same way for anyone who's had the opportunity to play a Hearthstone adventure before. I'm sure not everyone has, especially now that they've been phased out, or if you just never really bought into them when they came out. We're getting that same sort of gameplay rolled in, which is very nice because Hearthstone, obviously, it's a very competitive game. It's a very player versus player game. There's nothing to do. I mean, once you've exhausted, your kind of newbie phase playing against the Innkeeper, you've got nothing but just to hit either casual or ranked queue, and it's really nice. I can say, as somebody who loved the adventures, even though they didn't add as many cards as expansions, which was ultimately why they were phased out. Because they didn't have enough impact on the meta when they were released. It was so much fun to have something that you could go to if you felt like, just doing something on your own, which is very cool. And it actually almost it almost had a cooperative element to it too, because you and we would always try to figure them out together.
Oh yeah. We were working our way through for months, working our way through all the heroic bosses and just telling each other what we got to work on what boss, and I'm so excited to do that again.
Yeah, me too. I've missed it, honestly.
Especially for the Arthas fight. That's going to be...
Which we are about to talk about.
Yeah, so we'll get there.
What is the breakdown of how these single-player missions are going to work? Well, there is a prologue, which is kind of just get your feet wet intro to the game, or to the single-player content. And I'm sure that is probably going to be the easiest piece of it. And it's cool because the reward for the prologue is actually one of the best rewards you get from doing anything. And it's a free... legendary Death Knight hero card, one of the new Death Knight hero cards that they've revealed. Or, well, not all of them have been revealed, and one of them might not be real, but we'll talk about that later. So that's what you get just from the prologue. There are 2 wings of 3 bosses each, And we actually have a breakdown here that they've revealed of what that's going to look like. So you have Blood Queen Lanethel as the first boss, Professor Putricide, then Syndragosa. That makes up the first wing, and once you beat the 3 of them, you'll get 1 pack. Then you have Deathbringer Saurfang, Lord Marrowgar, and Lady Deathwhisper. That's wing 2, and you'll get another pack when you beat Lady Deathwhisper. And then finally, the Lich King is his whole own thing, as he should be, of course.
Yeah.
They've described it as a showdown at the top, the pinnacle of Icecrown Citadel, just like when you take him down if you ever played World of Warcraft. And when you beat him with any one of the 9 classes, you'll get a pack for that as well.
Now, is this confirmed to be the order of the bosses?
No, actually, I am not sure, but I actually have an inkling that it might be, because if you look at the way that it's laid out, we have Blood Queen Lanethel, which is a card in the first one to be revealed, then Professor Putricide was revealed, then Syndragosa. So I kind of have like a double-edged theory here that Saurfang, Marrowgar, and Deathwhisper are going to be cards, because the first 3 are also cards.
Yeah, I feel like they will.
And also that will be the order that they're revealed in, because that's how it's been for the first 3.
Right. I'm just saying that wasn't the order they were in Icecrown itself.
That's true.
Which generally they've stuck to the order of like each raid and like the boss progression.
Oh, have they really? I mean, you would know because of Karazhan, and I didn't really do that one.
Well, that one was a little different, but if you look at Nax, if you look at Blackrock Mountain, were there any other raids? Well, Blackrock Mountain's a good example because that was a meta instance with like 5 dungeons within it, and literally the entire thing was in order boss for boss.
Okay.
So I want to say they're going to stick to that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely not confirmed that the way that they're laid out in this graphic is the way that you'll fight them in the game. That's a good call there, Dookie. But these are the bosses that you're going to fight, ending with the Lich King. And as I said, when you beat the Lich King with your first class, you'll just get a pack for that. But they have also revealed that if you undertake to defeat him 8 more times past that, each with all of the different classes in the game, you will get another reward for that. And he actually changes depending on what class you're using, so you're not just going to be able to figure out the fight once and then use that same strategy. You're going to have to evolve your strategy for each class. But the reward you get if you do that, which they've said is going to be painstakingly difficult, which sounds awesome to me.
I know, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, but the reward that you'll get if you actually undertake that feat is a brand new paladin hero. This is so appropriate. It is the uncorrupted young paladin Arthas.
Arthas Menethil, yep.
Yes, this is such a cool touch. I love this.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this. I mean, as much as I love Rip and Liadrin, being able to be young Arthas is just dope.
Right, it's really the badge of honor that's going to come with it, though.
Oh, absolutely. Going in and just being like, guess what, bitches? I'm playing as Arthas. Did you beat Heroic Lich King with all 9 classes? Because I did.
Yeah, I'm going to feel the need. I think what I'm going to do when this set first comes out is honestly like try to rush for this.
Yeah, I'm going to... Yes.
I do not want to get it like after all the decks that people have done it with become like publicly announced. I want to try to figure it out on my own.
I was actually a little disappointed because I've been going on Hearthstone every day to see the spoiler list and see what cards have been revealed. I was actually a little disappointed that they were like, hey, so the reward for Arthas with every class is you get this. And I was like, damn it, I kind of wanted the surprise.
Right.
Because like when they first announced it, they were like, there's going to be a special surprise and it's going to be like really difficult. So, only the most, experienced players will blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to finally uncover what it is once I do it. But
yeah,
this is the internet and we can't have nice things. And
right. It probably would have been leaked otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If they didn't reveal it, it would have just been leaked immediately. And like, there's so many people out there that are just like, I don't care. I just want to know what it is.
No, I definitely agree with you. I would have been very pleased to just be shocked by this. I mean, I feel like I probably would have found out before I ever completed this, to be perfectly honest. It probably would have been everywhere since I follow so many things on Twitter, like Hearthstone related, but they could be a little bit more selective with what they reveal, right? Like, try to keep some things secret, and some things that should be public, not secret, like, I don't know, the release date.
Yeah. Yeah, could we please have that?
But
yeah, I just, I didn't like waking up in the morning, went to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, said, let's look at the new cards. And then they're like, Arthas, new hero. And I'm like, God damn it.
The toilet, where most Hearthstone games are played.
Oh, absolutely.
But
that's how you multitask.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what else are you going to do when you're in there, right?
Right.
I mean, it's either scroll Facebook or play Hearthstone.
Like,
that's all it is for me.
Think about your existential dread, because...
No, you can only do that, like, you only have to do that in the shower, because you can't have your phone in there, right?
Right.
And then your brain is like, oh my god.
We need a workaround for this.
Right? Even more waterproof phones than we currently have.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, is that all we have for the Frozen Throne missions?
As far as the rewards for the single player missions, yeah, that's all they've revealed. I mean, I'd venture to say that's all they're gonna be, and that's all we really need. I mean, that's a decent amount of free content. I mean,
yeah,
we're already getting, we're gonna get at least 3 free packs from this whole Ahun festival, the Frost Festival, because we're getting the 3 weeks of the free Tavern Brawl that gives you the quest to do, or not Tavern Brawl, the free arena that gives you the quest to do 3 arena games and get a Knights of the Frozen Throne pack. Then you're getting 3 more for free just for doing the single player content and a free legendary. So
I like how it's just play 3 arena games, not win, because they're like, here's your free pass for 1 arena. You can lose 3 times,
and you'll still have 1 win too.
And you'll still get 1 win rewards. So yeah.
It's got me playing a lot of arena personally.
Yeah, same. Actually, pro tip, so you don't make the same mistake I made, is it looks like the new Tavern Brawl and new Ahun quest gets rolled out on Wednesday morning. So Wednesday before midnight Pacific, make sure you have 2 quest slots open.
True.
Because I had this made me so mad. I had this Win 5 Tavern Brawls quest that, like, I think I got it, like, the last date the last Tavern Brawl was up, and then I didn't do it because I just did another quest.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'll just save this quest until the next Tavern Brawl rolls around, because it was a 60 gold quest.
Right, and you didn't want to do the stupid kill the 1/4 and have it deal, the first Ahun Tavern Brawl, you didn't like it.
Right, and I think I got that quest on the last day of that.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so I barely even had a chance to do it. So yesterday rolls around, and I log on, and I'm like, all right, new Tavern Brawl. It's time for me to do my Win 5 Tavern Brawls quest with whatever this new one is, and the Ahun quest overrode it.
Yeah, that happened to me too, very sadly.
Yeah. And, not only did it overwrite a 60 gold quest, which sucked, but, I mean, it overwrote a quest. Like, an entire quest. So,
right.
Like, on Tuesday night, make sure you have 2 spots open, because you're going to get a new quest for the day, and you're going to get a new Ahun quest.
So either only have 1 quest or 0 quests.
Or no quests, yeah.
When you are done playing on Tuesday night this coming week, just so, Ahun doesn't steal another quest from you. Actually, the first week of the Frost Festival was really sad for me, because... I don't usually do all my quests on like a work week day, like night or whatever. If I'm playing Hearthstone, I don't always want to do multiple quests, because usually they're quests I don't want to do. Like, the game keeps forcing me to play Pirate Warrior. Like, every week I'm getting play Warrior cards, play Pirates, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do this, but it keeps making me. So sometimes I'll play the game for hours without working towards a quest, and that's exactly what I did on that first Tuesday night before the first week of the Frost Festival. So not only did I get a quest overridden by Ahun, it was a quest that had previously been doubled by the Fire Festival, and I didn't do it.
Ooh.
So that hurt really bad.
I missed some Fire Festival doubleage. Yeah. Because I was like, well, I think I had multiple done, and I was just like, I'll just wait a couple days and then just do the rest, and then the Fire Festival ended. So we didn't min-max right.
which is weird for us.
Throw ourselves off of a roof.
I kind of want to. And by the way, all this talk about Frost Festival Tavern Brawl or whatever, it has me wanting to bring up the Tavern Brawl that they brought for week 2 of the Frost Festival is very strange to me. It's the Nefarian versus Ragnaros Brawl.
Well, here's what happened. They didn't want to make another new brawl, because why would they do that?
It's a little much to ask for them to make 2 or 3 themed brawls off of Ahoon, right? But still, like Ahoon's like screw Ragnaros, I hate Ragnaros. It's like, oh, here's a brawl where you play as him. It's like,
I mean, it was literally the closest thing to being relevant to, and I love it. I love that Tavern Brawl.
Which one do you like to be more?
Oh, Ragnaros.
Really? I like to be Nefarian.
That's funny.
Getting those cheap spells, man. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, it's just Ragnaros is just so fun. Like you're just blowing shit up all over the place, and like you start with that weapon, and you're just like face, and then you get that hero power and his emotes. Like every single time I use the hero power, I emoted "By fire be purged." Like I was like RPing as Ragnaros while playing.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense actually. Like the reason you like Ragnaros and the reason I like Nefarian, it actually fits our playstyles pretty well.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like, oh, free spells, give me.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going like, I hope they don't get something good, because that would be the end of my fun.
I hope they don't get anything that stops me from killing them with fireballs.
Yeah, because that's the name of the game.
All right. So that is it for the single player missions. Really looking forward to those. It's going to be awesome, just pulling together with your friends or as a community to figure out how to take these bad boys down, especially the Lich King 9 times. I wonder who the first person's going to be to do it. It's probably going to be like half an hour after it's released, right?
Yeah,
somehow they'll already have done it.
Actually, we haven't actually talked about this since the first time we talked about it, but we were talking about maybe like live streaming some of our attempts at doing a Lich King heroic or whatever. I guess it's not heroic. I guess it's just him.
Right. Well,
or does he have a heroic?
No. There's no such thing as heroic anymore. It's just his difficulty is like heroic level.
Right.
And
but you just gotta beat him once.
And he's like, well, but he's like 9 different bosses though.
Right.
Depending on, but you only have to beat him once to get that last pack. If you're like, I don't give a shit about Arthas Menethil young man version, then you don't have to do it again. But obviously, like we're gonna do it.
Oh, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I would love to.
You made live streams for that, just like when one of us has a good new deck idea, then we'll go to that person's perspective, and then we'll try someone else, another idea, and go to our perspective, whatever.
Definitely. We'll have some information out about that when and where we're going to do that on our Twitter, so stay posted for that. But for now, I think we've stalled long enough. Let us just dive right into these cards. I'm so ready to take a look. So, So first off, might as well start with the first card since the initial reveal that they gave us. Everybody was so ready and pumped for some new cards, and then we got Ticking Abomination. 4 mana, 5/6, Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to your minions. So just you, the player who played Ticking Abomination, you're gonna Dragon Fire Potion your minions when it dies.
Yep. Pretty big drawback.
Yeah, obviously general consensus is that this card is terrible. And I tend to agree. I really don't think that this card is going to see play. But I see one. I have to point out that I see one application for this card. And it's for a very off-board, just very, very greedy, value-oriented control deck. Could easily run this card, because obviously the drawback to this card is not something that you can deal with. Like, it's good enough. It's not good enough to make up for how bad its drawback is. So the only deck,
everything you have.
It's stopping you. It's effectively stopping you from playing any more minions until it's dead. The only deck in which this would then be good, as an overstatted 4-drop then, is a deck that doesn't plan on playing any more minions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, immediately, the kind of decks that come to mind for me are something like a Handlock or like a Freeze Mage, where you could easily play this as your first minion, and the last minion you need to play until it's dead.
Yeah.
You can just get him down to make an early grab at board control, not with the normal way with playing minions on curve, but just by playing one overstatted and trying to fight for it that way, or even getting in some chip damage for something like a mage deck that's really trying to just precisely burn you down.
Yeah, and actually I see one good suggestion in the comment section here from BadCam2. This could always be a Purify target.
Right. That is something that's been thrown around, but I tend to agree with like the counter argument to that, which is that Humongous Razor Leaf does what Ticking Abomination would do as a Purify Priest target, but 10 times better. Yeah. On 1 less mana and much better, more
better
competitively
stats. Way better stats.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that is something that you could consider. I mean, you could run this in a greedy Control Priest that's kind of trying to do something kind of off-board. I mean, that's going to be kind of hard because Priest usually gets a lot of its damage from on-board. But, I mean, you could throw the silences in there, and if it just so happens to shake out, it does, and you can silence this thing. But, in general, not even a good arena card. Probably going to be, dust.
I give it 2 Salt Shakers.
Oh yes, we forgot to explain. We don't do a star rating here. We do a number of Salt Shakers out of 5, which is how salty you're gonna be when you see the card come down. I want to say I want to say 1.
Yeah,
honestly.
1.5 maybe.
Yeah, maybe just because of that narrow. If there is like a very off-board control deck, it might see some play. Maybe.
I mean, I remember when I started playing Hearthstone, and a Chill Wind Yeti would come down, and I would be like, "Fuck, I can't deal with that."
Right.
So this is +1/+1 Chill Wind Yeti, and if they don't have any minions, if they're just playing on tempo and just trying to just keep the board theirs while they build resources and combo pieces or win conditions or whatever, then this is fucking hard to deal with.
You're looking for value trades or chip damage on the face. I mean, and this is more than chip damage, honestly. I mean, if you get 5 damage in on face with a mage deck that's trying to get you with fireballs and pyroblasts, that's a significant.
That's not chip. Forward. That's a whole Hershey bar right there.
It's got potential application. That's all I'll say about it. All right. Yeah. Up next, we have another neutral minion, which is way more interesting and probably better than Ticking Abomination. Is the Bone Mare.
Oh, I love this guy.
I really love this card, too. So, Bone Mare is a 7-mana 5/5 battle cry. Give a friendly minion +4/+4 and taunt. That's right. You compare this card to Bog Champ, right? Especially in Arena. Bog Creeper. 7 mana, 6/8 taunt. Totally respectable minion.
Great minion.
Absolutely capable of flipping the board on its own and winning you the game from a losing position. Bone Mare, and that's 6/8 stats. Bone Mare's 9/9 stats, and it's still giving you taunt on the board. This is insane.
Yeah, this could go in any deck. This literally could go in any deck. I obviously always look at things from the aggro perspective. This can be the top of your mana curve. You're probably already going to have a board because that's what aggro decks do. And this is like 2 abusive sergeants at once, and then also health and also taunt.
The way I like to break it down,
bonkers.
It is. It's a lot of value, and it's on-board value, so it can be used aggressively, right? Especially since you can throw that +4/+4 onto a minion that's ready to attack, which is the best part of it.
That is what's so good about it.
Yeah. And it's not just an aggressive play like an abusive sergeant would be, where that's going to go away and you just got 2 extra damage. This is permanent, and it's solidifying. It's making your board very strong and complex in a way that paladins usually do. So with cards like Spike Ridge Steed, and the card that I would compare this to, Blessing of Kings. So what you're really getting is, if you're trying to smash 2 cards together to compare this to, you're getting a 3 mana 5/5 with Blessing of Kings plus.
And
Blessing
taunt.
of Kings plus. Yes, and the plus is taunt.
Yeah.
So, definitely an amazing arena card. This is going to be an insta-draft every time if you're an arena player. And I can definitely see this sneaking its way into Constructed.
I really could. I'm putting my salt rating in the chat with the Salt Shaker.
Oh, nice.
Emoticon. I don't know what they call them on Twitch.
Emoticon.
I'm still in the AIM days.
It sounds like some Transformers thing. Emoticons.
Yeah, emoticons. This gets 5 salt shakers from me.
I would give it a 4. I give it a 4. I just the thing that holds me back is like I just don't know 100% that there's gonna be a constructed deck where this is gonna be like an auto include, but I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're continuing on with the neutral minions, and then we'll go into the class minions. Next up, we have another very interesting neutral minion. I like that all the neutral minions in this set so far have at least been interesting, if not good.
One thing to point out: Undead is not a tribe.
That, yes, I was, yeah.
So.
We'll talk a little bit more about that because it relates to our card challenge segment later, but we were both really hoping that pretty much everything we've seen so far would have been Undead tribal.
Oh, yeah, they would have.
It's not, yeah, absolutely, and that's a little sad. But up next we have Nerubian Unraveler. It's a 6-mana 5/5 epic neutral minion. Spells cost 2 more is its static effect, so while it's on the board, your spells, your opponent's spells, everything costs 2 more.
This just goes to show you how fucking strong Lotheb was.
Yes.
Lotheb really was... Oh, God, I miss Daddy Lotheb. Oh, my earbud's falling out. 5 mana 5/5. Your opponent's spells cost 5 more.
But
only on the next turn.
Yeah.
Only on 1 turn. But things in Hearthstone only live 1 turn. So...
True.
And this affects your spells. And it's less of a what's the opposite of discount? Count?
Count, yeah. No, actually, wow, you got me stumped there too. What do you call it when you make something cost more? It's not a discount, it's a
tax.
Upcharge.
Tax.
There you go, tax. A spell tax. That sounds good. So, yeah, the tax is lower, obviously, and it does apply to you, but it could have the potential to fill a different niche, right, than Lotheb. So, like, I'll just set up a scenario. You've got a stacked board, and you're on turn 5, and your priest opponent's going into turn 6, and you've got Lotheb in your hand, right? You can throw that down and block the Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah.
But for 1 turn. So you open up that turn to, keep your minions on board and hit them in the face for what you've got. You compare that to the Nerubian Unraveler. And, like, maybe you coin into this, or you're on turn 6. Whenever you're expecting the Flame Strike, the Dragonfire Potion, you throw this down, and it delays it for that turn, and potentially the next turn as well.
Yeah, if they can't remove it, then...
Right. Or the Shadow Word Death costs 5, to take care of this. If they can't remove it on board. That's the big thing.
Going in a control deck, is the bottom line.
No, absolutely not.
This is an aggro deal sealer, just like Lotheb was. That's the thing, is... It kind of fills the same exact role as Lotheb. It's just slower.
It is.
But
it
slower. Still could do the same job.
Mm-hmm. It's got some potential upside for sure. Overall, definitely worse than Lotheb. I'm not trying to make the argument that this thing is better than Lotheb by any stretch. Lotheb was 1 less mana, same stats, better spell tax. Everything was better on it. But I could see this again. You can't predict the meta when we only have 24 cards to look at, right? Or it's more than 24, but only the 24 that have been revealed since the initial reveal. There could be a niche in constructed for this card. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I give it 3 salt shakers.
Yeah, I would also give it a solid 3. It's a we're not sure where this is headed, but it's got potential.
Absolutely.
But the next card doesn't need any sort of meta call to be completely amazing. Up next we have Corpse Taker.
Corpse Taker.
Corpse Taker is incredible. It is a neutral minion, which I didn't even realize at first, because they revealed it when they were revealing some Paladin cards, and this feels so much like a Paladin card to me that I was just like, yeah, clearly this is a Paladin card. But what we have is a 4-mana 3/3 epic neutral. Battle Cry. Gain Taunt if your deck has a Taunt minion. Repeat for Divine Shield, Lifesteal, and Wind Fury.
I like that they didn't say Lifesteal and Wind Fury.
Right.
They just used commas. I guess there was too much in the text box.
Yeah, well, you know how much they don't like their text box cluttered.
Yeah, they would hate our card creation challenge.
One day they're gonna have to break that rule, right? Because they're gonna start running out of fresh ways to make cards. But
yeah,
for now, this is a lot of text for this game, honestly.
This thing is awesome.
This is a beast, and you're gonna be able to control it to do exactly what you want by how you build your deck.
Yep.
Obviously, it says if these minions are in your deck, so obviously if you've got them included, but you only have, let's say, one minion in there that has Wind Fury, and you draw it before you play the Corpse Taker, it's not going to get Wind Fury, right? Because it's not in your deck. So it's definitely a build-around card, but it's not going to restrict you very heavily like something like a Reno Jackson would as a build-around card, forcing you to a Highlander deck. This is just going to make you make some interesting decisions on what to include based on keywords in your deck.
Yeah, and I'm looking into the cards that have thus far said if your deck has blank.
Right.
And Kazaka says if your deck has no duplicates. Reno says if your deck has no duplicates. Raza says if your deck has no duplicates. So saying your deck has means not in your 30-card build, it means in your remaining deck.
Yes. That's how I take it to be
It's literal, yeah.
Right.
So Wicker Flame Burn Bristle satisfies 3 of these.
Unless you draw him first.
Exactly, and if he's your only way that you're trying to get him, then you might want to put something else in there.
But I compare this card directly to oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. I can only think of what he says. It's when Earth moves, empires fall. Tolvir Stoneshaper.
Oh!
Yeah. So, okay, Tolvir Stoneshaper, if you played an elemental on the turn before, comes down as a 4-mana 3/5 Divine Shield, which is an incredibly solid minion. You have the potential here, without having to use elemental synergy, play a card before or whatever, just a little bit of build around in the deck creation process. You have something that's almost as good as that card stat-wise. If it comes down with at least Divine Shield, you're really close already. If it's got any of these other abilities, like Divine Shield Wind Fury, you're looking at a Vicious Fledgling that didn't even have to hit first before it got awesome, right?
What's Alakir?
Alakir
is this almost Alakir?
It's almost Alakir. Yes. I mean, if you are playing, but it doesn't have charge. The main thing about it is and it cannot get charge. These are the only keywords it can get from minions. So I think that's honestly balanced because of how much value this can come down packed with.
Oh yeah, I mean Alakir was a 3/5, but he's also 8 mana. So
obviously you're wanting to get as many of these on there as you can. Honestly, we'll talk about this a little bit more, I guess, with other cards, but we both kind of have this sense that Lifesteal is going to be kind of a trash ability.
Yeah, a bit of a throwaway.
I don't even really think that you'd need to ensure that this card gets Lifesteal. It's really the Divine Shield and Wind Fury that you're after, because I also have another theory that you're not when the deck that inevitably includes this card is like sussed out and like we have the final version. I don't think you're actually going to want to give Corpse Taker taunt. Because you're going to want her to come down as Divine Shield Wind Fury and be protected by other minions.
Right, yes. This is your Vicious Fledgling.
Right. So if you're really only looking at...
cracked out from the moment it hits the board.
Right. So if you're really only looking at trying to get Divine Shield and Wind Fury on this minion, which I think are the 2 best abilities available to it, it's going to be really easy. I mean, Wind Fury is probably going to be the toughest thing because traditionally Wind Fury minions are terrible. But
I can't think of anything with Wind Fury that I would want to put in a deck.
Right.
Currently.
I mean, I don't know, the Storm Chaser, Storm Watcher, the 4/8 Wind Fury, that thing's not bad.
Yeah, that one's...
Yeah. I mean, it's mainly an arena card, but you could find something in there. I mean, this would be easy for Shaman, right? You just run Alakir. It gets, like, everything.
Yeah, that's actually... Fuck, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one Alakir and you're set. I mean, you don't have the Lifesteal, but I don't think the Lifesteal really matters.
No, honestly, I really don't. I think
because Lifesteal, that's the thing about Lifesteal. Lifesteal is not board value. Lifesteal is just like, oh, that's nice.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's almost like, why nobody, I wouldn't say nobody, but you don't see a lot of, cards that just heal and don't do anything else in this game being
you need
played.
Something attached to it.
Yeah. And Lifesteal doesn't have anything attached to it. It's attached to a minion, but that minion is still going to die. I mean, if it hits for 3 and gets you 3 health, I mean, big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Corpse Taker. I think this thing's going places, honestly. A little bit worse of an arena card than Constructed, right? Because you can't control what you're going to get. I mean, if this pops up late in your draft and you happen to have Divine Shield Wind Fury in your deck, go for it. So up next,
DJ Fresh said that this was a worse Vicious Fledgling, which I was initially saying, like, what the hell are you talking about? But then he followed it up with, and by worse, I mean more cancerous. Paladin is good enough already. So, yeah.
Yeah, it can calm down with all Vicious Fledgling's abilities, right?
Yeah,
Which,
exactly.
I mean, and they've already identified Vicious Fledgling as a problem, so not really sure why they followed up with Corpse Taker. But
yeah. God, what would you... You'd have to run Grook Fu Master or like Thrallmar Farseer or like Young... No, you wouldn't run Young Dragonhawk.
I mean, you could potentially run Young Dragonhawk in some kind of like very low mana curve, like aggressive face hunter or something.
It could be a small time recruits thing. Because then you thin out your deck and pull those young
possibilities for this card are almost endless. Like, really, there's going to be a configuration that has this card. I'm willing to say that.
I'm gonna have. Well, yeah. If you're Shaman, you can do Dust Devil or Alakir.
Yeah, I think Alakir would be the better choice there. But
absolutely. Yeah. So I'll be building around this for sure.
Yeah. I would give this solid 4. I want to say almost 4.5. Salt shakers here.
Yeah, I'd say 4. It's not like the Steed, where it's like this is like not even debatable like how good this is. But
all right, so the neutral legendaries that we've seen so far. Up next, we have Prince Keliseth, and both of these princes super weird. What's that? Yeah, super weird. Brand new type of mechanic here. Well, kind of. It's a 2-mana 2/2, and it says if your deck has no 2-cost cards, none, like unless you've drawn, like if you had duplicates, you had to draw them. You know the whole Reno Jackson thing. No 2-cost cards in your deck. Give all your minions in your deck +1/+1. So you have this like mist collar effect if you're running Prince Keliseth with no other 2-drops.
Yeah. I can't tell how good this is. Like, I don't know. Like, I legitimately don't know. Like, because hero powers cost 2 mana, so you've always got like a 2-mana option, which is nice.
Unless you're playing priest, then you just have to heal their face and emote.
But this isn't going in a priest deck. Like, let's be honest. This is probably going in a tempo aggro type deck.
Well, that's the thing, though, is it really can't, right? Because there's so many amazing 2-drops. And that's my argument for why this card probably isn't going to see play in any decks, because 2-drops are incredible in this game. You have Radiant Elemental, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Crackling Razor Maw. All these amazing 2-drops form the backbone of certain decks. Like, no matter how late game, how greedy they are, you've got Radiant Elemental Lyra combos. You've got, Crackling Razor Maw late game is still incredible if it comes down on like a Savannah High main or whatever. Yeah. 2-drops are really good in Hearthstone, and I don't see what having all of your minions come down a little bit overstated if you get this on curve. This could be, you could draw this late game, and what did it do for you other than screw up your entire deck?
Yeah.
I just really don't see it.
I agree with you. Probably a 2 salt shaker.
I think this card would still be bad even if it hit the minions in your hand, but it doesn't even do that.
That's true.
So you gotta draw into them. I don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. From that perspective, I think this is pretty bad.
Which is sad because he's like one of my vampire homies. So bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rip and kill Twilight.
So, up next, the next prince, we have Taldaram, who has a very similar ability, only he's on 3 mana. He's a 3-mana 3/3. Battlecry, if your deck has no 3-cost cards, transform Prince Taldaram into a 3/3 copy of a minion. So he has the Faceless Manipulator ability, where you can copy a friendly minion, you can copy an enemy minion.
But he's only 3 mana.
And he's only 3 mana. Right, so you're getting that discount off of Faceless Manipulator. Obviously, you can't do some kind of combo where you transform him up into really high attack, like with charge on Leroy Jenkins. you can't do something like that because he's going to be capped at 3 no matter what you do. But there's something there potentially with this one. If this becomes like a very, very central combo piece to some sort of combo deck that's going to come up out of Knights of the Frozen Throne cards we haven't seen yet, then yeah, I mean, he could be the backbone of a deck.
I mean, this could be a second Malagos in some Druid deck, and then you just get, moonfired into the next galaxy. And
something along those lines, yeah. Or, if it comes about that there's some kind of 1 or 2 drop minion that's just incredible to have as a 3/3, that's even another way that you could go with it. Again, the problem's going to be, can you find a class that can be just fine with a deck with only 1 3-drop in it? Which,
right. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, maybe not. But I honestly feel like 3-drops are a little less essential than 2-drops are in decks, which is kind of funny.
It depends on the class for sure. Like you could never run this in a Hunter deck because I feel like their 3 slot is like just packed.
Right.
As all hell.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Just off the top of my head, but yeah, like for the fact that there is potential here. I'd probably still say like two salt shakers.
Yeah, so far, I mean, with nothing to point at and say, yes, this is what Prince Tal'Darim would be good with, yeah, that you cannot say that this would be a good card, but you also can't count it out, right? I think I'd also give it a 2.
Yeah.
Just because,
yeah,
I mean,
this is a puzzle piece for fuckery.
Yes.
But, it could be a Velen. It could be a... Mm-hmm. I don't know, something... I was going to say Ragnaros, but...
But
no.
Those cards, like Malagos, Velen, those classic combo OTK sort of things, they don't actually benefit from this, right? Because they're so highly costed that you can't combo them plus spells in the same turn with Prince, even though he is so low. So I really think that we're kind of waiting to see if there's going to be a combo piece introduced that he works with.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Super interesting mechanic. Like so far, like there've been bad cards. We've already been over some bad cards, but at least they're all interesting, right? It's not just like this is just a poorly statted minion. They're
trying.
Got something going on. Yeah, and somebody's gonna try to mess with this, and maybe they're gonna figure out something crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the class cards now. That's all the neutrals we have to go through. First, we have Druid with a very weird card to me. This card is so strange to me. It's called Fate Spinner. Fate Spinner is a 5 mana 5/3 with a choose effect. Only it's choose a Death Rattle, which we haven't seen before, and in parentheses, kind of just slapped on there, it just says secretly. which is so weird. It's such a weird way to word it. And it does in fact mean that what you choose will be hidden from your opponent. They are not going to be able to see which of these you choose. And the options are deal 3 damage to all minions, so Excavated Evil aboard, or give all minions, your opponents and yours, +2/+2.
Yeah, I didn't see that. At first, when I saw this card, I didn't realize it was all minions.
Yes.
Which made it significantly worse in my mind. But I don't think it's bad. No. Because you're gonna play this to what your board state is. If you're the one if you already if you already have a leg up, you're just gonna do the give all your minions +2/+2, and if your opponent's got a board, you're gonna do 3 damage to all minions.
Right, which is the main reason why I just cannot wrap my head around why they decided to make the choice on this hidden. Because you're gonna, you should, based on the texture of the board, based on how the game's been playing out in your position, your opponent's position, it should be decently obvious which one they've chosen.
Yeah.
I guess it does add an element of skill, but...
It adds some mind games, because, what if you just need this card out for tempo? What if there is no clear-cut better option, and then your opponent has to be like, oh, well, shit, what did they do?
Right, do I play minions into this to try to get additional benefit?
Or you could even double bluff and pick the wrong one, because your opponent thinks that you're going to pick the wrong one, and there's mind games.
Yeah, that is definitely the core behind this. Is it's a mind game, right? Because one of them says don't play minions into this, right? Because you're gonna just get them killed. One of them says play minions into this because you're gonna get incredible benefit. Generally, I think though you're just gonna have to kind of hedge your bets and do whatever's gonna be the least detrimental to you in your position in the game. Try to kill off any sort of other minions they have on board before dealing with this.
I say 3 Salt Shakers. Yeah,
I would agree with that. It's got potential, but whether or not it's going to find a home in a constructed deck, in a long-lasting meta deck...
that has yet to be determined.
And you're going to hear that for a lot of these cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? Because we haven't seen enough of the set yet.
Because we don't know shit.
Also, I bet you... I'm just thinking of this now. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I bet you this can't be brought back with N'Zoth. Because it doesn't naturally have Death Rattle. It's kind of like the Unearthed Raptor. He comes down and he takes a Death Rattle from one of your minions, but he doesn't have it implicitly. So
Does this count as a choose one, a Death Rattle, both, or neither?
I think it counts as a choose one only.
But it doesn't say choose one.
Well, true.
Choose one cards say choose one.
Choose one Death Rattle would sound really weird, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, it could say choose one secretly. I don't know. I don't know. There's no way to know.
It's just such a... They tried to do several new things on one card, right? It's just weird.
I feel like a 12-year-old made this.
Choose a Death Rattle secretly.
But it's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Anyway, we'll see what Fate Spinner's fate is later. Up next, we have the Druid Legendary, not the Druid Death Knight Hero Legendary, but just their legendary minion, Hadronox. 9 mana, 3/7 beast with Death Rattle. A lot of cards have Death Rattle in this set, as you're going to see. Summon...
I feel like Death Rattle is the undead moniker.
It is. Basically, it is, honestly.
Even since the beginning, it kind of has been.
And I'm cool with it. I love Death Rattle. Death Rattle is my favorite effect in this game. Death Rattle, summon your taunt minions that died this game. Very interesting. This is very interesting.
When I first saw this, I said, this is bad.
You might be right. Honestly, I think I kind of elevated it a little bit too much when I first saw it. I kind of had, the opposite reaction of you. But at 9 mana, a 3/7, so it's a Death Rattle minion that's not even that easy to kill. There could be a board state where you can't even kill this off the turn after you play it. To get
this needs benefit. Taunt.
Yeah, I agree.
This needs taunt.
It synergizes with taunt. If you're spending 9 mana, you can't even hero power. You can't do anything else. You're leaving yourself wide open on a turn that's late in the game. The board is probably stacked if you're playing any sort of deck that has any sort of aggression, and if you're playing a deck that's value oriented, they're just going to try to ignore this.
Yeah, this isn't you need to drop your Ancient of War this turn, not this thing that's just going to let some deck that's already tempoing out on your ass just continue to rail on you.
Right.
You're not giving it taunt for 1 mana.
No. Speaking of Ancient of War, by the way, it's one of Druid's best taunt minions, but guess what? It doesn't have taunt. It has choose one. So if you play Ancient of War in a deck, which is an incredible minion that you'd want to get back, it won't come back from this because that's not a taunt minion. It's a choose one that can get taunt with its choose one.
This needs this needs trading power, or taunt. Or it's just
honestly, if this thing was a 7/3, I'd be like, it'd be better that way, right? Because you get a big trade, and it's easy to trigger the Death Rattle.
Because that 7/3 is gonna die.
Right.
I'm giving it 2 Salt Shakers.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. At first, I was psyched about this. I was like, wow, the Druid taunt N'Zoth, but it's not even close to N'Zoth. It's I mean,
N'Zoth would resurrect this.
It would.
And then this would resurrect other shit.
Right.
But the fact, I didn't even, the first thing I thought of when I saw this card was Ancient of War.
Doesn't work.
And Ancient of War doesn't work.
No. I mean, you've got a couple options, right? I mean,
Jade Behemoth, I guess.
Jade Behemoth's one, but you don't get any additional triggers on Jades for bringing those back. I mean, there's some really decent lower cost taunt minions that you could get back, like Tar Creepers and stuff. But as far as like a really, really decent Druid taunt minion that just has taunt implicitly, like a Dark Arakoa, you're not gonna want to start using Ironbark Protectors. 8 mana, 8/8 taunts probably not gonna be good enough just to include because of Hadronox. I don't know. Bog Champ, he's good in Arena.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe they will just make more taunt minions.
Maybe we haven't seen that yet either.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, next card.
All right, moving into Mage, we have a common minion, 3 mana, 3/4, Cold Wraith. Battle Cry: if an enemy is frozen, draw a card.
This thing's just good.
I agree, but think about how difficult it's going to be to freeze a minion while also nicely and curving into this. It's not going to be easy to do.
But that's the thing. It's Mage is about tempo, and if you have to just play this on turn 3 with nothing frozen, not the end of the world.
You're right. I mean, a 3 mana 3/4, priests do it all the time with Talon Priest.
Yeah. So. And it's, we haven't seen what's printed yet, so
no.
There could be, I actually think freezing is going to be a bigger thing.
Oh, I agree. I mean, so far what we've seen really implies that it will be. Yeah. I mean, a 3 mana 3/4 is never anything to get upset about. I mean, even if you don't get the extra value off of it, like I said, priests throw down Cabal Talon Priest all the time without exactly. Target. So
yeah, there's never been anything wrong with a 3 mana 3/4. You're never too sad when you have to do that.
Right. And if you just happen to be on turn 5 and get to chuck out a Frostbolt on a minion it's not going to kill, and then throw this out, hey, enjoy your card.
That gives you incentive, because a Frostbolt ideally is going to be an even trade. But if your Frostbolt ends up losing you a card because you didn't remove anything, well, then this makes up for the deficit. This gets you your card back.
Right. You can even freeze face if you're playing against one of them pesky pirate warriors.
If an enemy is frozen,
yeah. Yep.
I would, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they've got one swing left on that Arcanite Reaper.
Yeah,
take away a
card
turn.
advantage-wise, I would freeze face every time on turn 2. I wouldn't even care, because card advantage-wise, you're losing no momentum. You get your card back.
Right. It's just
you wasted that Frostbolt, but you get a card to replace it.
If your opponent then throws down something that's a great Frostbolt target later, though, then you might regret it a little bit. But
that's why you run 2.
that's why God gave you 2.
That's why God gave you 2.
All right.
Anyway.
Up next, we got Ghastly Conjurer, a rare mage minion. 4 mana, 2/6, Battle Cry. Add a mirror image spell to your hand. Blech. It's, honestly, I mean, a 2/6 without taunt on 4 mana or any other, I mean, it has an ability, but giving you a mirror image, it's kind of a stall tactic, but it's very inconsistent, unreliable. I mean, it dies to basically every board wipe in the game, just to get them out of the way. I mean, you could make the argument if you're trying to do like an Antonidas deck, it's kind of throwing some cheap spells into your hand for some fireballs, but overall, this does not stand out to me.
Yeah.
It's something that's going to find a home in a very, very well designed constructed deck.
Did you mention Time Warp?
No, I wasn't thinking about the Time Warp aspect of it.
Feature Time Warp a little bit. Yeah, it's the main thing about the mirror images at that point in the game is it's like, cool, it's another spell. So whatever benefit Mage is getting from, cool, another spell, then that's all this really does.
Right.
Because a 2/6, that's not trading into anything.
So what is it really doing? What is that body getting you on the board? Not much.
I mean, she kind of hot.
You're not wrong.
So, I'll give her 3 salt shakers just for being hot.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with 2. But it's interesting. Like, I guess she's. What do you see behind her there? I'm trying to see. I see like a bunch of dwarves, right? It's like some dwarves going on.
There's a...
Is that a Nelf?
Orc? Or is that a night elf?
I see some long eyebrows and ears there.
That might be a night elf mohawk.
I think it's a night elf mohawk.
And then I think on the left that's a human, and then there's a dwarf on the right.
Yeah.
Tauren. There's a Tauren above the human. I see the horn.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so
stare at this art.
Disclaimer before the next card. This version of the mage Death Knight hero might not be real.
I haven't heard this. Please explain.
This is a leak. First of all, this card has not been revealed yet. You won't even see it on every site, depending on what you use for looking at Knights of the Frozen Throne spoilers. This was gotten from, I want to say it was Chinese. I'm not sure. It was a video from in another language and everything, where it just kind of popped up, and the text was in another language, and somebody said they translated it, and this is what it says. There's a lot of rumors going around. Some people say it's fake. Some people say it's not. There's been analysis. It's inconclusive. This might not be real. But what we have so far, you can find this on Hearthstone if you're curious. It is 9 mana. It's called Frost Lich Jaina. Gives you 5 armor when you switch into it, and the battle cry on it says summon a 3/6 water elemental, so literally water elemental. And then the permanent effect that you have for the rest of the game is your elementals have lifesteal. I don't know if I believe that this is real or not, personally.
You know, I thought this was a weird, bad card when I first saw it, and I was just kind of surprised and honestly just disappointed.
Yeah.
But now that you've brought up the fact that it might be fake, I think it is fake.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Mage is like the last class I would see getting lifesteal, first of all.
Right.
And I also think this is just a poorly designed card.
It's really weird that they would be pushing really heavily an elemental theme, which was something from the previous set, right? We don't usually see that. We don't usually see a next set very, very overtly or heavily supporting something from the previous set.
Yeah.
Elementals seemed like a very Ungoro thing, and I don't know why they would make this card either. I want to believe that it's fake, but there are people out there who swear that there's some sort of identifying monikers on the card, and the fact that it was revealed in a video, which obviously that's a lot of effort for somebody who's trying to dupe everybody, right? But there's people out there that have time.
Okay, right here. No, this is fake. Right here from the comments. This is from Renienden. It doesn't modify your hero power.
Well, that just hasn't been revealed yet, right? Like
Didn't
it was like
say though that like the new hero you switched into was going to modify your hero power?
Like you're talking about the wording on like Deathstalker Rexar?
Well, what is the wording on Deathstalker Rexar?
That's a good question. I don't have him in here because he was previously revealed.
Let me look that up.
Enlighten us.
Deathstalker Rexar, I will tell you in a moment. Okay, never mind. He doesn't have his new hero power listed.
Okay, so that's the thing is people who vouch for the authenticity of this card is that it wasn't an official reveal of this card, and it's not that suspicious that it was just caught from like if you watch the video, it's just like a flash of cards like come across the screen and somebody stopped it and pulled the information from it, but it's not that far-fetched to think they didn't reveal the hero power at the same time.
So this might not be bad, depending on what the hero power does.
Correct, and it might not be real, depending on if somebody was being a dick.
Might not be fucking real.
Take what you will from it. Just wanted to throw it up there, just in case it does turn out to be real.
Yeah.
But this next card for Mage, the legendary minion, is 100% real. Syndragosa. Very interesting card. Very interesting. It's
your ex-girlfriend, right?
We're not going to get into that conversation. We don't have time.
No, we don't have time.
Syndragosa, 8 mana, 8/8 dragon. Battle Cry. Summon 2/0/1 Frozen Champions. And Frozen Champion, you might be asking yourself, what is that? It's 1 mana, though that doesn't really matter because it just spawns onto the board when you play Sindragosa. And it says Death Rattle. Add a random legendary minion to your hand. Which is, I mean, that's some value. I mean, obviously, you don't get to control what that legendary is. You could get Millhouse Mana Storm, or something equally terrible like Blood Queen Lanethel.
Turn 10, Millhouse Mana Storm's a body, and people can afford all their spells anyway, so,
You're going to get cards back from this, and more than likely they're going to be able to do something for you. Plus, you have an 8-mana 8/8 body attached to it. It's understated for 8 mana a little bit, but not that badly. It's interesting.
It's the challenge here is obviously how do you kill your Frozen Champions, because they are 0/1s with a Death Rattle.
Right.
So obviously as a mage you can ping them off, but then you're restricted to 8 mana for that turn.
And you're restricted on what you can ping. You can't ping face, you can't ping an opponent's minion, you have to hit your own thing.
So giving this thing an attack stat somehow could be a viable option. Except I think these are coming out frozen.
But that is a very interesting point that you make, because I give all the credit to Dookie. He points out that frozen is bold in the text on Sindragosa, which is always indicative of you see Death Rattle, Battle Cry, they're all bold, which it's indicating that a keyword is present. So what I'm wondering though is if it's going to function like normal frozen, which is that they lose 1 turn, they lose 1 attack. I mean, now obviously these things can't attack, but they also wouldn't be able to attack with whatever you want to call it, summoning sickness from Magic. Like the first turn they come out, they can't attack. So I wonder if they're really just frozen for the turn you play them, the turn after, and then they're unfrozen after that.
Here's another angle.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of these cards that have been revealed have been recreated in Hearth cards.
Oh, okay.
Because you've seen some of them have really low res images.
Right.
But then the card itself looks fine.
Yes.
And I think that's because they pulled the art, and then they were like, well, this whole card looks like shit, so let's just take the art, which is still going to look bad, but then we'll recreate the card in Hearth cards. And one thing I've noticed about hearthcards.net is it will boldface keywords.
On its own?
I believe so.
I didn't even realize that.
So I'm going to test that out real quick, but
okay,
that could be what's going on.
That is a potential thing. There was actually a whole article posted on Hearthstone Top Decks, which is one of the many websites I look at every day for Hearthstone info, talking about how to identify cards that are real and cards that are recreated from Hearth cards.
So Hearth cards does in fact boldface the word frozen on its own.
Okay, so this could be something that the website that I pulled this from, they recreated the card to have a higher resolution, because a lot of the cards that we're getting are kind of small, the reveal cards pulled from videos or wherever they come from. So that's very interesting. So got to take I guess everything with a grain of salt at this point.
I try to look at everything under a microscope.
But I mean, even if they're not frozen, so they come out, they're perfectly normal minions. Mage is not really a class that would be into running things that would give these things attack, right? Like,
yeah, it may just not a buffer.
Defender of Argus, these kinds of cards. Like, I don't think that it's worth putting Defenders of Argus in your deck just because of Sindragosa. It could get swept up in a Volcanic Potion, and maybe there's some other cards coming out that, hey, Ticking Abomination, there you go. Throw one of those out, he's going to take them out. We'll see. We'll see. It remains to be seen if random legendaries are going to even be something that a mage deck wants. Usually mages are trying to get more value out of their spells than minions. Just an interesting card, though.
I give her a 4.
Yeah, I think I would go 3. I think I'll go 3 salt shakers on Cindy. Up next, we have a truly terrible card. At least I think so.
Truly. Oh god, Blood Queen Lanathel is so bad.
This is the only Warlock card we have to reveal, which is not good.
Which is funny because Warlock's awful right now.
Yeah, so far it's not looking good. Blood Queen Lanathel is the Warlock legendary minion. 5 mana, 1/6 lifesteal. Has +1 attack for each card you've discarded this game. This is bad. So
what's up next?
This might be a good time. This might be a good time to talk a little bit more about why we both say lifesteal is throwaway mechanic. I think the direct comparison to make to this card, especially being a legendary, is Draconid Operative, which is very much not a legendary. You can have 2 of those bad boys.
Yeah, 2 of those motherfuckers.
You're getting a guaranteed 5 mana 5/6, which is
competitive as fuck.
Right on curve. Like, that is the golden standard. And you're getting a card, and obviously you're playing in a dragon deck. Your uptime on that trigger, even after Blackrock Mountain rotating out, is incredibly high. You're 99% of the time getting a card off of that thing. 5 mana, 5/6, no bullshit, just got 5 attack from the beginning. Get a card. Blood Queen Lanathel could somehow come down as a 7/6 lifesteal on curve for 5 mana. It would still not be as good as Draconid Operative.
That's probably true.
Lifesteal doesn't do anything for you. She might not get to hit. She doesn't have charge. She doesn't have taunt. She could die to a spell. She could die on a single trade to 1 minion. And think about how discard works in Warlock. You could get this in your hand. You could get this in your opening hand. Discard her.
Yeah.
Like, this
discard will never work because you have to discard cards that make them work.
Yes.
That's unless they come back. Like, I guess Malchazar's Imp is close to that, and then Clutch Mother.
Yes.
Actually comes back.
The closest, the only cards that they've ever made, and that actually advance this archetype that they continue to seem to want to push on Warlock, which is a discard archetype, that have actually advanced it any closer to being viable, is Malchazar's Imp, Silverware Golem, and Clutch Mother Zavis. Why? Yeah. Because they're all giving you something back for discarding.
Yeah.
The only thing this is giving
forgot about Silverware Golem, but that's another one.
Silverware Golem gives you an awesome tempo play, but still highly RNG, of course. It's all RNG. Clutch Mother Zavis, if you're discarding her, you're not actually discarding, and you're getting a decent minion. It does not fix any part of all the things that discarding cards breaks. You don't care if this comes down as a 7/6, 10/6. Like, pump it up as high as you want. It does not help you win the game.
I mean, unless you're in the unlikely event that your opponent has no answers, but that's not Hearthstone, so Right,
your opponent's usually going to have an answer, and you probably, especially if you're looking to play this thing on curve, if you don't end up discarding it, it's on average going to come down as, honestly, I mean, you yourself saw the problems with how difficult it actually is to consistently discard in that deck when you were trying the Lucari Sacrifice deck.
Yeah. Wow.
It's probably going to come down as what, like a 3/6?
Crafted that, folks.
A 4/6? It's just,
Yeah, you've got to discard a card every turn before this comes out for it to even be as good as a Pit Fighter.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I mean, the lifesteal, again, you're playing Warlock, you're using your life as a resource, I understand that, but there are much better ways to mitigate something like that.
I mean, maybe you can go balls to the wall discarding, but still, then you discard her. This is so dumb.
Exactly. There's really no redeeming qualities to this card. If there is a Warlock deck that uses Blood Queen Lanathel, I will have to do something publicly embarrassing because this is a 0-star card.
There is... Okay, wait. First of all, this is not a battle cry. She just has +1 attack for each card you've discarded. So it will go up over time.
Right.
And if you do discard her, she can be brought back with that Dinomancer guy.
She can be brought back with
that. And she'll come back big.
I assume so. I guess it's kind of like the Cthulhu mechanic, where if you pulled Cthulhu back out with like a Doomcaller then he would still be at the stats that he was
because she
pre-death.
just has +1 attack for each card you've discarded,
right,
including herself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you discard her, she's going to get +1 attack for that if she comes back. But then your Dynamancer could probably bring back.
Well, I said what I said. Prove me wrong.
A myriad of things.
Prove me wrong, and we'll decide my punishment. All right. Moving on to Rogue, we have Plague Scientist. 3 mana, 2/3 minion with combo. Give a friendly minion poisonous.
See potential?
I do too.
It's
hard not to see potential in this. Huh?
But I don't think it's amazing.
I agree. First thing that popped into my mind when I saw this is that it's a very, very good arena card. This is something that, in arena you're getting some smaller minions, trying to keep your curve a little lower in arena. You're going to have some things that you can combo with, I think, a little bit more effectively than trying to run this in a constructed deck. There's already Envenom Weapon, where you're getting, unless there's some weapon destruction or what have you, you're getting 2 kills out of that. This is 1 minion that can give you 1 kill. I mean, you don't have to take the face damage, but you're losing a minion. I mean, there's definitely potential there.
Yeah,
but
definitely see potential.
On the same token, for 2 more mana with combo, you can assassinate something with Vilespine Slayer, which is a targeted thing. It gets around taunt. It's really hard to say with this.
Yeah,
really hard to say.
I guess it's, Rogue certainly has the potential to pull off a combo without any issue.
Yes.
But
when you're building a Rogue deck to very consistently trigger combos, you're inherently starting to include lower value cards, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
and
it just depends on what kind
you're probably sacrificing a minion to kill something off.
I mean, there are definitely prime targets for it. I mean, one that I've seen tossed around is the Jade Swarmer. I mean,
absolutely. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah.
Right. Some other things that I've seen tossed around is kind of abusing the poisonous mechanic on cards like Knife Juggler and Pyromancer, Wild Pyromancer, because that is that card itself dealing damage. The Wild Pyromancer or the Knife Juggler is the one doing the damage. So those are poisonous knives, those poisonous fire. So you can take everything down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But still, Rogue has never been that concerned really with trying to take down huge boards, right? They just kind of want to get in their damage. Like you get a big taunt minion, they sap it, they finish you off, and call it a day.
Yeah.
So
I give it 3 salt shakers.
I'm gonna say like 2.5.
2.5.
2.5. I'm doing halves today.
All right, half salt shakers.
Anyway, very interesting card, though. We'll see if somebody finds a way to abuse it. And, of course, more cards coming, so we'll see. This card, though, nothing in the universe could save. Leeching Poison. Give your weapon lifesteal. For 2 mana.
What is this? This is just, like, I don't know. It makes you say, like, oh, well, you're modifying your weapon. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. But, like, this is just 2 mana, get some health, maybe.
Right. Now...
That's so dumb.
It really is, because, I mean, you could say, like, I honestly feel like this is kind of Blizzard saying they're trying to appease people who have been complaining about rogues losing access to heal when Antique Healbot went out of Standard. People have been saying there needs to be neutral heals, there are classes that don't have access to heal, and Rogue is usually the first thing they point at. It's like Rogue uses their health as a resource for stabbing with their dagger. I mean, other weapons haven't been played in Rogue in I don't know how long, like Assassin's Blade. I don't remember the last time that was viable.
Yeah.
But, so this is Blizzard being like, here's some heal, here you go, you're complaining about face-tanking damage. It's like, I want to pay 2 mana to gain 2 health off of my dagger, or I'm going to start running Assassin's Blade because I can steal extra health off of it.
I mean, you could, poison your dagger, but then you're just blowing all these cards on your dagger.
Right. But,
it's like, what's your deck even doing?
If you're using Envenom Weapon, how does Leeching Poison help that at all? Like, you Envenom Weapon to take down, a huge minion. Like a bog creeper or something, and you gain 1 health off of that, and that helps you how.
Yeah, lifesteal, it's a throwaway. It really is. Right. It's a throwaway ability.
Cards that don't do anything but gain you health, historically bad. Like, just look at Ironhide. Greater Healing Potion has seen a little bit of play just because of how incredible
it's just so much. Yeah.
But Flash Heal was only ever played in decks where they were running Akanai Soul Priest to try to get that as damage. You just don't play cards that are only there to gain you a little bit of health, and this is a tiny bit of health. I mean, obviously we haven't seen if there's going to be another weapon for Rogue, but I really don't see what could make this viable.
Yeah,
it's not giving much unless anything else. Yeah.
Just an astronomical amount of health.
Right.
But even then, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, this is just a garbage card. All right, next we have Icebreaker. Talk about bad weapons. So we have a 3-mana 1/3 with the text "Destroy any frozen minion damaged by this," and frozen is bolded correctly on this card. We know for sure. So. This automatically just makes me think of Envenom Weapon, right? I mean, what this card is there to do is to give you the possibility of face tanking down huge minions and getting a lot of value off of that.
Yeah.
But you can't just poison your weapon and do it. You have to freeze the minion that you want to kill.
Right, and we don't know how well Shaman's going to be able to execute that.
Right.
But at this point, they have barely any tools to do it.
Right.
So
the next card up is a card that opens up that possibility, but there are reasons why I don't think it's a good combo at all. Honestly, you're looking more at not a freeze that's made by contact with a minion like Water Elemental or the Voodoo Hexer, which we're going to look at in a second, but from a remote source that's not losing you a minion. So something like Frost Shock is an example, which is one of the only spell freezes. I think the only spell freeze that Shaman has. But also you could look at stuff like Frost Elemental and the Glacial Shard, things like that. So you do have elemental synergy built into those cards. You could try some sort of elemental freeze deck and try to get a little value out of Icebreaker, but I really just think it's going to be too inconsistent.
Yeah.
The amount of times when you get the Icebreaker but no freeze, or the minion that you really want to destroy is protected by like a Stonehill Defender, so many decks are running that. Like, it's just gonna be out of your reach so often with this, and you're just not gonna be able to get what you want out of it.
And I mean, a 3-mana weapon should be decently powerful and have some good trading power.
Right.
So, there's almost no point in it just outright destroying things. I mean, do you really want to face tank some 8-mana minion with this just because you can kill it because it's frozen?
I don't know. Ask the Rogue. I mean, it works sometimes. It really does. I mean, getting multiple charges of something like that essentially equates to Assassinate is pretty incredible. I mean, you get a lot of value out of that. Obviously, you're using your health as a resource for that. But I just don't think this weapon's going to get there. It's too spotty.
2 salt shakers.
Yep, I agree. 2. So let's look at Voodoo Hexer, which is I think they purposefully revealed this, in close succession to the Icebreaker to try to allay some people's fears of not having freeze available to Shaman.
You're like, no, but look.
So we have 5-mana, 2/7 rare minion, taunt, freeze any character damaged by this minion. This is a good minion.
Yeah, the taunt makes it aight.
Yeah, the taunt is definitely key. If this was just a 2/7 freeze, a 2/7 water elemental, that would be awful. The taunt makes it an anti-aggro tool.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm gonna be, my level of salt shakers will probably be close to the 5 range when this hits the board.
Regardless of how powerful the card is in the meta, yours is going to be at 5 always.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna call it now. I'm gonna go ahead and call my salt shakers now. How many did I click? 11 salt shakers.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Because you can't even I'd have to True Silver Champion and then something with 3 attack.
And then your
probably
face would
lose
be
a
frozen.
minion.
Your face would
My
be
face
frozen.
is frozen.
Yeah.
And it's...
All right, the card to compare this to for power level, though, is absolutely Ali Armorsmith, right? So there are certain boards and circumstances where Ali Armorsmith is absolutely superior, and there are certain boards and circumstances where Voodoo Hexter is better. So say that you're playing against some sort of like a swarm deck, like, you know, Murloc Paladin, or, you know, some version of Hunter where they're running the Jeweled Macaw and the Alley Cats and all that. If they have a bunch of stuff on board that they can just kind of run into this 2/7, and they're all dying anyway, and the freeze isn't mattering, and they just remove it that way, nothing happened really, right? They just kind of got through it. Whereas if they're having to swarm Ali Armorsmith with a bunch of little minions to try to take it out, they're getting armor for every hit there, which is significant. I mean, that's doubling down on slapping aggro in the face. You're getting but you flip that around, and let's say, you know, this comes down in the later game as against like a Savannah High main that's been hit with the Houndmaster, and it's huge. Ali Armorsmith is just going to give you 2 armor and die tanking that.
Yeah.
Whereas Voodoo Hexter is going to take that hit and freeze that high main for the following turn, effectively blocking it twice. So you've got a different thing going on here.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, a protection against bigger single minions rather than like a whole board.
And it's Shaman Freeze, which is apparently a thing. So.
Yeah, Shaman Freeze, but still, like, you know, comparing this to trying to use it with Icebreaker, you've got to run Voodoo Hexer into the minion and then your face into the minion. And how much value did that actually really get you? You got your Voodoo Hexer hurt. If it's a big minion that you're going to get a lot of value off of from hitting it with Icebreaker, maybe your Voodoo Hexer died or it's very low. Just not really a combo that you're going to want to try to pull off.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
So, I would give the Voodoo Hexer 3. It really is just going to depend on if there's some kind of control shaman and it needs some protection from aggro.
Yeah, it's probably legitimately a 3.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
All right, let's look at a decent weapon. Up next, we have Bloodrazor from Warrior. 4 mana, 2/2, Deathspite Jr., Battlecry, and Death Rattle deal 1 damage to all minions. So you're getting a Battlecry Whirlwind effect and a Death Rattle Whirlwind effect like Deathspite used to do. Yeah,
this one's definitely interesting. You know, you have... The Warrior has control over both times that Whirlwind effect happens.
Right.
Which is strong, you know. There's two whirlwinds built into a weapon, but it is a very small weapon for 4 mana. Mm-hmm. So
the weapon itself is worse because coming down on 4 mana, you used to be able to take down a very respectable minion with Deathspite. I mean, it would come down, you got 4 damage immediately available to you. Pretty much take down anything that was played on turn 3. This is coming down. I mean, it's getting the 1 extra damage, and then you've got the 2, so if you're just using it for removal, you've basically just paid 4 mana for Fiery War Axe at that point, because you've dealt the 1 damage, and then you've face tanked the 2. So what this is really gonna be used for, if it's viable, if it's an option even, is that the Whirlwind effect is gonna have to be used as a beneficial to your side of the board.
Yeah.
I really think
the meta is going to need whirlwinding to be a thing for this to see any play.
And I don't even just mean it being a negative effect against your opponent's board, but it has to be a positive for yours.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's like 4 decks out there that just spawn shit with 1 health endlessly.
Right.
Right. In which case this will be really good, really great against them. But no, it has to have some very positive effect for you too.
Right. And obviously, I mean, this has been a thing for Warrior in the past. Nobody's forgotten Patron Warrior. When Warsong Commander used to give them charge and they could make a bazillion of them in 1 turn.
Cool. What a bad time that was.
But Bloodrazor could definitely open that up, some kind of thing. Hopefully it's not as cancerous as that was, but we don't have anything currently that you would want to run Bloodrazor just to trigger. You know, it's not worth it to run Bloodrazor just to get in a rage on Bloodhoof Brave. It's going to have to be.
But what about Raging Worgen?
Raging Worgen, is
you ever
probably
think
going
of
to
that guy
die.
that's gonna die? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to die.
I tried. I tried.
But maybe there's some warrior card or some neutral card that only warrior's going to abuse, just like Grim Patron that we haven't seen
Yeah.
yet. So definitely a combo piece. This isn't a weapon that you're going to throw in for board control. It's a combo enabler.
So I couldn't remember. I knew Blood Razor was a weapon in WoW, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And I just looked it up, and Blood Razor, spelled one word, Blood Razor.
Oh, okay.
Is a world drop old world epic. So this has nothing to do with Icecrown.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is a shame because there were a lot of cool weapons.
Right, it's like why did they have to pick one that wasn't from Icecrown? Like I'm sure they could have found one.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Oh, just Blizzard. Things.
I'll never forget my Trogbane tanking axe that I got off the Lich King.
Trogbane?
Trogbane.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Good shit.
I don't remember if I got any drops off Lich King other than just, tokens for tier gear. I don't think I got like a weapon or something.
Yeah, I can't because we only killed him twice.
Yeah.
And you were only there one time.
Yeah, but when I was there, I was top DPS. What?
Hell yeah.
Shadow Priest represent.
It's good times.
All right. Before we go too far down the WoW rabbit hole, moving on, we have Mountain Fire Armor. Warrior minion, rarity. 3 mana, 4/3, Death Rattle. If it's your opponent's turn, gain 6 armor. I think this is super cool. I really like this one.
Yeah, this is a good card.
Yep. It's Death Rattle. Like the effect on it is definitely defensive. Obviously, armor. It's not doing anything offensive to your opponent. It's just giving you some health. But this is definitely played in a deck where you intend on being the aggressor, right? Because you only get this effect if you are not the one making the trade. So you want this to come down and be going face and force your opponent to make the trade and then get a little bit of armor back for that. Which there is nothing wrong with that plan.
No, it's a good. I mean, 3 mana, 4/3, got good stats, got an effect tagged onto it. Mm-hmm. No complaints here.
Exactly. The way I really like to look at it is, imagine this lining up against the current burn control mage or whatever you want to call it. It eats a Frostbolt or a Medivh's Valet. It eats the damage from that, which, because you can't afford to leave this 4 damage up repeatedly hitting you in the face, and you probably don't have the board presence to take care of it any other way. You're generally relying on a spell or something like that to help you take down these minions that are beating on you. So not only do you have to expend a card to kill this card, then you've just negated a fireball to their face when this triggers.
Yeah.
Which significantly sets back that game plan.
And that's probably the best example of how negative an effect this card can have on a certain archetype.
Yeah.
But that's significant, definitely.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out that I feel like with this expansion, they are very much embracing their WoW roots. And I'm seeing it in all kinds of little ways. Like this card, this armor is like the blue quality armor, plate armor that drops in Northrend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this is what I was smithing, like leveling up my smithing.
Nice. I didn't realize that.
Like they're being so good with their WoW roots with this expansion, and
except for Blood Razor.
So happy. Well, at least it's a card from the game. Like I don't think Icebreaker is.
Is it not really?
I'm gonna look it up, but I don't remember that being a thing. There's Terran Icebreaker. I knew that.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, Terran Icebreaker is a weapon.
Oh, okay. Terran sounds like a name.
Yeah. Anton got it.
Oh.
The things I remember.
You do. You have like the strangest memory for like who had what and when.
Well, I remember the important things. Yeah, no, Icebreaker is not a weapon in World of Warcraft.
So weird, right? Like.
Right, it's all the weapons in Icecrown. There's so many cool ones.
So many weapons.
Like, do you remember the one that drops off of Lord Marrowgar, the Bone Storm guy? It was like an axe, and the handle was the blade was made of bone shards.
Yeah, it was his. It was like his wing, kind of.
Yeah, that were like levitating.
Yeah, that was super cool.
That's so cool.
I don't know why they wouldn't use that.
And Ryan had it. Smashington. Smashington got one.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
anyway.
All right, so we've had some good warrior cards. Let's bring it down a peg with Bring It On. Bring It On is a 2-mana warrior epic spell. Gain 10 armor, but also reduce the cost of minions in your opponent's hand by 2.
2 mana. Do nothing. Do something good for your opponent. 0 salt shakers. Next card.
Just to expound on that a little bit more. Honestly, I can really feel like I can get my head into the space they were at when they made this card, because if anybody remembers games with classic fatigue / control warrior, the effect on this card is not as detrimental as it seems, right? Because you would not play this on curve. It's something like Dirty Rat. Like, you just hang on to this card for value later. 2 mana for 10 armor is pretty significant. I think that's the biggest heal, like, as far as mana efficiency that the game has seen yet. And you could easily wait until you've run your opponent out of resources before you start slapping these on. But still, Dookie's point, and the point we made earlier, is that a card that only heals you is almost never worth it. And that's exactly what we're staring at here. I mean, even if you somehow Dirty Rat out all your opponent's minions, you're fairly certain they don't get any benefit from this. You're still only just gaining 10 health.
So something that was just pointed out by Delta Dragon Infinity, which I didn't think of this angle because I don't think in control angles. I don't think in terms of fuckery. And this is some fuckery. Let me tell you.
Okay, I'm ready for fuckery.
This can bait people to drop their minions on the board so you can brawl them.
Okay. I mean, I see that.
That's some fuckery.
That is, I mean, it's fuckery. It can also still backfire, just depending on the kind of deck that you're playing against. Like, making your priest opponent's Ysera cost 7 mana isn't necessarily playing into Brawl. It's just letting you play it 2 turns early. So,
yep.
I can definitely see the potential upside to it. I mean, even to the negative effect, as you pointed out. Thanks for that comment. But it's really just gonna depend on if Fatigue Warrior is even a thing. If gaining 10 armor to counter Pyroblasts is going to be necessary, we'll see.
I give it 2 Salt Shakers because I know fuckery exists.
I agree with you on that one. Let's give it a 2. All right. So that's it for Warrior. Up next we have Paladin with Light Sorrow. 4 mana, 1/4. After a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, gain +1 attack.
I see what they're doing.
Go ahead.
I appreciate it. I'm
gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Because as a Paladin player, and specifically, I'm a huge fan of the Divine Shield deck using Rallying Blade or Steward of Darkshire, and because Divine Shield is just such an insanely great value keyword, and the whole thing with Divine Shield synergy is you have to have Divine Shields. And as we know in Hearthstone, nothing lasts more than a turn. And Divine Shields are gone. I'm like, next turn, I'm going to have the sickest Rallying Blade, and I'm going to give 4 things +1/+1. And somehow they find a way to get rid of all my Divine Shields. So this is giving you, the chance to benefit from them taking down your Divine Shields. But is a 1 power weapon on 4 mana with an inconsistent ability to make it better. What are the odds of that actually being good?
The answer to that is 0. No, if you seriously try to break it down, and what I always like to do is try to compare it to other cards and what ridiculous circumstances would have to be met to even make it equal to just a vanilla card. Think of Assassin's Blade. 4 mana, 3/4. What do you have to do to get a 4 mana 3/4 on curve with this? You have to stick 2 Divine Shield minions on turn 3 that neither of them loses their Divine Shield.
Yeah.
Until the turn is passed, you spend your whole turn equipping this, and then you pop your Divine Shield, possibly getting some value. You have an Assassin's Blade for that. For that fantastic feat you just pulled off. You have an Assassin's Blade. Now, I mean, obviously they're trying to bait you into thinking, oh, I make Steward of Darkshire great again, or for the first time, and you're gonna make 1,000,000 Divine Shield 1/1 minions and make this thing have 6 attack and face like a warrior. It's just not gonna happen.
Like, I'm trying to even think of the scenario. You on turn 7, if you have some Divine Shields out, you drop a Blood Knight, or you drop this, and then you drop a Blood Knight, and then you beat them all. That was the
example they gave in the video, actually.
Right, it actually because that's what they do in their stupid little demo videos, is they're like, wow, look, this would be crazy if all this shit worked right, and it's like, that never happens. Like, do you remember, like, that Galvadon video where they were showing that off? Like,
yeah.
And look what happened with that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see... It requires too much effort. It requires too much alteration of deck builds. There's not that many great Divine Shield minions, and the new Paladin Divine Shield with Charge minion is not that good. They were kind of showcasing him when they showed off Light Sorrow. Actually, the reveal video, at least from what I saw on some forums and stuff, it caused a little bit of confusion as to what Light Sorrow actually does, because it was such a quick scene, and they throw on Light Sorrow, and they just like kind of ninja throw out Blood Knight, and a lot of people were thinking that Light Sorrow actually sapped all of your Divine Shields when you played it, because they didn't really catch that a Blood Knight was played alongside it. But that's not how it works. It's just through the natural course of whatever pops it, this sword gains attack.
Also, fun fact through my Googling, Light Sorrow, also not a weapon in WoW.
Nice.
So, scratch what I said about them being very true to the lore.
After you had just praised them.
It's with everything but the weapons. It's blowing my mind with the weapons, that they're not, like, going hard on
I guess they just decided they wanted to make their own. I don't know.
It's like, we can do better than us, Blizzard.
We can do better than us.
Like, I don't know. Maybe WoW weapon names are too nerdy.
Maybe.
And they have to make it more casual.
I don't know. Well, here's something to make you feel a little bit better about the lore. Bolvar Fireblood.
Yeah, that is very much a part of the lore.
Yes.
But not very much a part of anyone's deck.
No. Bolvar Fireblood, pretty much just as bad as Bolvar the original. 5 mana.
Oh, this is better than him.
You're right. It's better. I can't sell it that short, but I still don't think it's good. 5 mana, 1/7, Divine Shield. After a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, gain +2 attack. So he does have Divine Shield, synergizes with himself in that way that if you pop the Divine Shield, don't just, Cabal Shadow Priest or Shadow Word Pain it or any of those fun priest things that you will want to do to this, and you actually pop his Divine Shield, he becomes a 3/7 just in his own right without any other setup. But at the end of the day, you're still staring at the same problem Blood Queen Lanafil has. You just compare this card to Draconid Operative and cry.
Yeah.
You have to do too much setup, too much deck alteration, trying to cram shitty Divine Shield minions into your deck to make this minion that ends up at the end of the day just being a vanilla minion.
Yeah, I mean, the best you can hope for here is... And this might actually be okay. This might make him okay, but you have to have the pieces. Yeah. Is put this guy out on turn 5, and then on turn 6, another Divine Shield minion, or 2, and then Blood Knight.
Right,
and
to get like
that's
going to make
him. That's going to give him competitive stats, and it's going to make a giant Blood Knight, and it's going to be that huge tempo board swing that Paladin is so capable of accomplishing. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know that if that's going to be reliable enough to ever be worth trying.
Yep. And again, you're talking about playing 2 Divine Shield minions and a Blood Knight with 6 mana. So, I mean, what are you looking at? You've saved 2 Argent Squires that you somehow didn't play on the first 4 turns of the game.
Right, yeah, exactly. So
it's just probably not going to do it. I mean, it sucks because he's so cool, and it's such a cool lore aspect of it. Like, Bolvar sacrificing himself after everything that he's been through, like burned out by Alexstrasza in the Red Dragon fight, and he just sacrifices himself to take the Frozen Throne and shut down the armies of the dead.
Great lore card.
But not a great Hearthstone card, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Unless maybe there's going to be like a card that's like a really good card, like a 4-mana 3/4, and it summons 2 Divine Shields alongside of it, like 2 1/1 Divine Shields with it, and who knows? Maybe Divine Shield's going to go nuts.
There could be a lot of cool Divine Shield synergy like that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah,
so.
And that's always possible, but still, at the end of the day, Bolvar doesn't do anything when he first comes out. He doesn't have taunt, he doesn't do anything to the board, he doesn't give you a card, he doesn't do shit.
He is hard to get rid of, I will say that.
He is hard to get rid of. Yeah.
And that's good in Hearthstone.
It is. Yeah, survivability is always better than attack. Which
very sticky.
Yeah. Well, you don't want 1 attack, but if he gained like +1/+1 whenever this happened instead of like 2 attack, I'd feel a lot better about him.
Oh no, 2 attack so much better.
Then +1/+1?
Yeah, 7 health is that's enough. You're good.
You're not a priest. You can't heal him up. He's gonna eventually die, you know.
Yeah, but you're just going face. You're not trading.
And the difference in playstyles rears its ugly head again. All right, next we have one of the best cards that's been revealed in name and in ability, the Bear Shark.
Oh, Bear Shark!
This is completely ridiculous, and I love it. It's a 3-mana, 4/3 beast. Can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Guess what? You can still target it with Crackling Razor Maw, Houndmaster, everything that you want to hit as a hunter player. You can still do it. This card's nuts. You can't hit it with Frost Bolts or anything. It's amazing.
He gets 4 salt shakers from me.
Yeah, I feel like this. If you're playing hunter, this is an auto include. If you're playing in a low curve aggressive hunter, you include it. If you're kind of trying to do this like more mid-rangey / control hunter that I feel like they're starting to try to push, still goes in there. He's really good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, this is the fairy dragon that we've always wanted, right?
Yeah, and it almost is the same exact thing, just
except the beast moniker and being a hunter.
Yeah,
that's what turns it around.
It means so much more.
Specifically because of minions that target other minions, and that's what makes the fact that it doesn't block that aspect of targeting. That's what makes this card so amazing.
Yeah.
Like if you couldn't target him with Crackling Razor Maw and Houndmaster, then it'd be like, kind of good, like kind of just like a slightly better fairy dragon. But because of those specific class-specific synergies, it's just it's good.
Yeah, and in arena.
Yeah. Oh, and clearly you remember all the bear sharks that were all over Ice Crown, and
just bear sharks running around everywhere.
Like that whole bear shark zone.
The Bear Shark Peninsula.
Yeah. I really don't know. I feel like this is like an inside joke that I somehow don't get or something, but it's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can even equate this to is in Homestar Runner, like a decade ago.
Oh, yeah.
The bear holding a shark cutout that Strongbad made to scare the cheat.
Yep, I remember it.
Other than that, I don't know where Bear Shark comes from. So.
All right. Up next from Hunter, this is exactly what I was talking about when I said they were kind of pushing like the exact opposite thing of that they were trying to push in Ungoro for Hunter, which was run a ton of 1-drops. Here we are trying to push it to the late game with Abominable Bowman, which classic Hearthstone kitsch. 7 mana, 6/7 Death Rattle. Summon a random friendly beast that died this game. So obviously you don't want your deck filled up with alley cats and rat packs and Crackling Razor Maws if you're going to try to run this.
You want Savannah Highmane to pop out when you do this.
Exactly, but Savannah Highmane counters himself with this card because of the hyena pups, the little tokens that pop out. So
that's true.
You're shuffling them in. This is going to be hard to get to work in Hunter. It really is, because most of Hunter's class design up to this point, and every semi-viable deck we've seen, has been to curve low, curve hard, and aggro face down. And this does not support that at all. We couldn't have done more of an about face from the Hunter quest the Marsh Queen. I mean, that never worked anyway, but I wondered this whole time if we were going to be seeing like some support printed to make quests better. And this couldn't be the more opposite of that. This tells you to take the quest and throw it in the garbage because you don't want one-drops.
We've still obviously seen very little of what Hunter's getting.
Right.
But then this does not synergize with the quest.
Correct. But then if a bunch of the other cards from Frozen Throne are going to synergize with the quest, they're not going to synergize with Abominable Bowman. So it remains to be seen where they're trying to take Hunter at this point.
Yeah.
But it's a great card. The effect is very powerful, but it's just that there's not a lot of beasts that you're going to want to bring back with this. But I think one of the main things to kind of keep in mind is that the Zombeasts that you'll be able to create when using the Deathstalker Rexar hero card, they will be able to be resurrected in their full glory by Abominable Bowman.
Yeah, that's true.
So you could be getting some good value out of him, depending on...
And it does fit into the stitching things together theme.
Exactly, yeah. Like, you make some crazy zombie creation that's super hard to get rid of, and then you just bring it back with this, and it's just like, oh my god. But, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like it.
I give him 3.
Yeah, he's got potential.
Three shakers.
I'd say 3. Up next, I love this card. This is possibly my favorite card that's been revealed. So that makes 2 for 2 for Hunter. I think that they're getting really good cards. This is Professor Putricide. 4 mana, 5/4. Perfectly reasonable minion already. That is just a great stat line, especially for an aggressive deck like Hunter. After you play a secret, put a random Hunter secret into the battlefield. So you are just value, value, value. He's not a bad tempo play, and you're not even that sad if you don't get the extra value out of him. You don't have to hold him till 6 to play a secret. You can just play him out. But if you are starting to get that value out of him, Hunter secrets are good. They don't have the problem that Mage has, where they all test for the same things, and they're all kind of bad and, can be easily thwarted. Hunter, you get 2 or 3 Hunter secrets down, and I don't know if you ever faced that down. Back when a Secret Hunter was a thing, it's daunting. So you're like, can I play this minion? Will it live? Can I attack? Does this minion go back to my hand? Do I trade first? Because my small minions are going to die from Explosive Trap. That's when not only are the power of the secrets coming into play and helping you, it's the fact that does your opponent know how to play around these secrets? Or can they even, based on their board state? Yeah. That is where it's going to get crazy, because then any secret becomes something that it could be, right? Because before you can at least be like, I know it's not misdirection, because nobody plays
misdirection. But it could be misdirection.
It could be misdirection with Professor Putricide, which just adds another layer to...
Yeah, which it's not like, it's not like any of the Hunter secrets are like bad effects. It's just you don't necessarily run all of them
right
in a deck. Mm-hmm. So. And then there's also the Cloaked Huntress synergy.
Yes, the Cloaked Huntress synergy is the next thing I wanted to mention. I mean, sticking Cloaked Huntress, on turn 3 where it makes it back to Professor Putricide's turn, probably not super consistent. Like, your opponent's going to do whatever they can to kill it, whether it's, fireballing it or Shadow Word Painting, anything they can possibly do to remove it, they'll do. But if you manage to make it back with Professor Putricide on 4 and at least 1 secret, even 1 secret, that's just incredible value for free. You're getting 2 out of him. I definitely think Secret Hunter is going to come back with this card.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah, you get some incredible value on your Eaglehorn bow. Looking at least getting, an additional durability off of him. So
I like how much he looks like Mad Scientist.
Yeah, because he deals a lot with secrets. So yeah.
It's definitely weird that Professor Putricide is a Hunter card.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree with that.
Because he is a boss in Ice Crown, and definitely one of the more memorable ones.
He does have 2 dogs. He does have 2 dogs. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Is Gluth one of them? No, Gluth's a different thing, right?
Yeah, Gluth was...
Oh, Precious. No. Precious and...
Oh yeah,
Precious. Remember?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, he had his 2 little cronies, Rotface and Festergut.
Yeah, and he also had his 2 dogs.
I think Rotface and I think the dogs belonged to Rotface or Festergut or both.
Was that
because
it?
then when you killed him, that's when they said Precious, because that was their voice.
Oh, okay.
Because he sounds like Professor
Farnsworth. Yeah, he does.
Good news, everyone.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this card, like, if you're playing Hunter, why would you not put this in? Like, you know, even if you're only running one or two different flavors of Secret, I mean, he's still a 4-mana 5/4. It's just a great card.
Yeah.
All right, so we finally did it. We got through all the cards that have been revealed up to this point, up to when we started the show today. I don't know, probably like 3 more got revealed while we were streaming, but that's all we got for now. So we are going to move right into the card challenge segment, but first, Dookie has some updates for you on this whole thing.
Okay, yeah, you know, as we've gone, you know, through several of episodes of this show, we've modified the rules of the card creation challenge, just because we started getting a lot of submissions and a lot of people were submitting a lot of things at once, and etc. So, you know, over the past weeks, we've come up with a lot of rules, and we've said, hey, next time do it this way. Next time don't do this. So we just figured we'd give you guys like a refresher of like all the rules that we've come up with so far for the card creation challenge.
Yes.
So first of all is you can only submit 3 cards per person. Anything past that, we'll just ignore the newest one. So whatever, you know, if you submit more than 3, we're just going to look at your first 3. And so, as you guys know, we picked 6 now. We picked 6 cards as winners, and then after the show, time permitting, we'll play games of Hearthstone with, you know, any winners, I guess, from, you know, highest to lowest, you know, that are in the chat.
It's just, you know, that have priority. You know, if we pick you have priority, but I mean, it's not saying we're not going to play with anyone else.
Right, exactly. Your card submissions, like, if a card is going to spawn other cards, like, let's say it battle cries to summon something, or it death rattles to give you a weapon, or it gives you a spell, any card you submit can only spawn 3 other cards, which is quite generous.
Because there are barely any cards that spawn more than one thing.
Yeah, there was stuff on the 4th of July, though, that we got that was like, summon an American card, and it was like, here's the 12 American cards it could be.
So, which we totally appreciate all the creativity and the work that went into that, but you can just see like the logistics of it, trying to put it all on what space we have on the screen.
It just doesn't fit.
And reading through all the text, because we have, you know, people who don't watch the VODs, we're having to read this all. It's, you know, there are reasons.
Time is limited, space is limited. Yeah. So a card can only spawn 3 other cards. You know, one thing we take into consideration when we're like judging what cards are going to be winners, obviously we look at creativity and originality and, like, you know, is this a cool idea? Does this have good flavor or whatever? But one thing we always take into consideration heavily when we're trying to narrow things down, because generally we get, you know, 20 creative as fuck submissions. Like, there's barely ever a time when you guys aren't being extremely creative.
Definitely.
And so a way that we have to narrow it down a lot of the time is through balance. Is this card a card that would be balanced in a Hearthstone? So, you know, if you can nail both of those, being a really creative, original card, and also being a well-balanced, not broken, not shitty card, then that's gonna be the top pick. So, you know, we've had to eliminate cards because we're like, yeah, this is a really cool idea, but it's super broken.
It's usually, and it usually tends on the broken side. Just really try to put yourself in the position of, if you were playing against that card, or if you were playing it, how easily you could win the game with just that one card.
How many salt shakers would you give that card?
Is it 12 salt shakers? That's too much. No, it really, that factors into the whole creativity thing, right? Because what we really want to see is something that we can really get behind and be like, this card would be so cool. And it's not cool, like, it would not be cool in Hearthstone if there was one card that was just like, you play this card and you just win. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Right. So another thing, if you can submit the card to us as a PNG image file, .png instead of like JPEG, that is greatly appreciated because it has a transparent background, and then we don't have to go into Photoshop and take out a black background and try to make it not look crusty. That's not necessarily a determining factor, but it might be a tiebreaker. If we've got a JPEG that's really good and a PNG that's really good, we might pick the PNG. So
yeah,
and if you don't know what that means, it's a file extension. It's an image type, and when you make a card on hearthcards.net, it by default is a PNG. So
yes, so
you
just
save that image.
Yeah, save it as what it is, and try not to put it through any other programs or whatever that may change the file type.
And finally, Twitter is just going to be the easiest way to submit things to us. You guys probably know this, but it's just at Salty Dog Podcast. If you want to tweet at me, at Dookie Shed, or at Clash _KLASHE _HS. Then you can do it that way. But at Salty Dog Podcast is the easiest way. So yeah, those are the rules. This is all stuff we've already known, but we just figured we'd put it all in one place.
Yes, we're gonna start attaching, like we have it nice and condensed. We're gonna start putting it in the show notes as well. If you ever need a reminder, or you can always just hit us up on Twitter and run something by us. I mean, we're always down to respond to individual inquiries. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so you posed last week's challenge, I believe, right?
That's right, because I made the wrong prediction that Undead was going to be a new tribe, a new little tag, a new moniker on Minions. And it's not. And the fact that it's not now probably means that it won't ever be.
Yeah, this was the time if there was a time. You actually made a good point earlier, saying that Death Rattle is almost the tribe of undead.
Yeah,
like, if a card has a Death
feels
Rattle,
like it is undead. That's the undead tribe.
Yeah.
But anyway, the challenge was create a card that is either undead or has some sort of synergy or effect with undead things, whether it's positive or negative. It could be a minion, could be a spell, but just something undead or something that affects undead minions.
Yes. All right. So, without further ado, let's go take a look at what we got from you guys.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate test.
All right. Up first, we have a submission from Mana X, which is called Sornek, Lord of the Risen. He's a 6-mana 3/7 undead, of course, battle cry, summon a random undead minion. And, if you control 3 or more undead minions, give all of your minions lifesteal.
Yeah.
So,
he seems high roll because you could summon anything from that 1/3 Death Rattle Ghoul or something.
Unstable Ghoul, yeah.
Yeah, to something huge.
Right, and what we don't have is anything to compare it to because undead isn't a thing.
Right.
Yeah, just basically off of our knowledge of WoW lore and just, common sense, we can kind of say what may or may not be undead. But definitely a super high roll card. This was very, very close to that edge of too powerful because it's got so much value packed into one card. One of the main things that is a tipping point for me is that if you actually manage to get the 3 undead minions, it's not just those 3 minions that gets the lifesteal, it's every minion you have on the board, right? So if the board's kind of flooded, but lifesteal is kind of a bad ability, so it honestly doesn't factor much into the whole thing. It's really just the high roll aspect. Like, it gives me bad memories of Tuskar Totemic summoning totem golems.
Totem.
Yeah. High rolling on that.
So if this thing summons Kel'Thuzad, then
right.
That's going to be a bad time.
But it's no secret that I love Death Rattle and I love N'Zoth. He's my favorite legendary, and this is like a mini little N'Zoth effect with like a little bit of a benefit if you're really heavily invested into the undead theme. So I liked it overall.
Yeah, no, definitely a cool card, cool flavor.
Yeah, and it's a priest card, which
that was from
Mana X, who also wanted us to say that he actually has a Twitch as well. He goes by Corn Thaniel. Corintaniel, Corintaniel. So go check him out if you have some time. All right, next we have from Croshin, my personal favorite from the batch today. We have Open the Crypts.
Oh, this one's so good.
Yeah, this is a great one here. We have a 6-mana priest spell. Deal 3 damage to all minions, so we're excavating evil here. But also, give any undead minions +1/+3 instead. This channels the same flavor as so many cards that Priest has had in the past, like Excavated Evil, Dragonfire Potion, even in some respects, Entomb. Just so much having to do with crypts and doing certain things to certain types of minions, but not others.
Yeah.
Obviously, super rewarding you for going heavy into undead theme, just like Dragonfire Potion does with dragons.
Yeah.
But also, it has another aspect built into it, because if your opponent has a bunch of undead minions, just like Dragonfire Potion, this becomes a dead card, in a way. Now, obviously, as a priest, you might be able to benefit more from the +1/+3 that your minions get, more so than, say, your warrior opponent might be able to.
Yeah.
But still, there's so much packed into this card. There's so many decisions to make. It's just really, really well designed.
Yeah, for sure. This is just a card that would totally get printed by Blizzard.
Yeah, I can definitely see this. If anything, like +1/+3 is quite a lot. Like, I could even see it just being something like +1/+2, or even like a Power Word Shield on everything. But
yeah.
But honestly, not much would really need to be changed, and I could definitely see this making it in.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Croshin.
Super cool card.
Definitely, very cool. All right, up next we have a JPEG, which we did not have time to fix.
Yep. See, this was the one that that made us. But this is a great card.
No, we don't want to call you out too hard here, Steph Van Essen. We have Arthas's Recruiter, who is a 4-mana 4/4, so pretty average stats, a little understated for 4. No, he's not a Yeti. His battle cry is give a minion a death rattle that is the same as their battle cry, which that is super clever. I really like that.
You know, I just started thinking of what if you did it to Arthas's Recruiter, because it's targeted, and a lot of battle cries are targeted. But Hearthstone is fine with turning targeted effects into random effects.
That's true.
As we've seen with Yogg-Saron.
True.
So, let's say it was a Elven Archer with Battlecry to ping.
Right.
It would just give a death rattle that just pinged something random, I guess.
I guess it would have to be that way. That had actually just crossed my mind, like
it just crossed my mind too. Yeah.
Actually, the card that popped into my mind was, for some reason, Abusive Sergeant. I was like, what would happen? Like, Abusive Sergeant's gonna death rattle and give a random minion +2 attack. But I guess so. Still, the core idea behind this is really cool. Like turning the battle cry into the death rattle. I mean, obviously the dream here is to hit, like, after your big turn 10 N'Zoth, he sticks to the board and you make N'Zoth's death rattle his battle cry his death rattle, and when he dies he does it again, and you're just this
effect could be so insane, but it's also just kind of hard to nail a great one. Right. So I think it's fine that it's like a decently statted minion also.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Because there are a lot of battle cries that you wouldn't even necessarily, like, wouldn't function that great as death rattles, like you pointed out. So yeah, definitely just like a cool new idea we haven't seen yet. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, me too. All right, up next from I'm a Dragon, we have Valkyr.
I'm a Dragon.
Valkyr Herald, 6-mana 4/4 undead, of course. Whenever a friendly minion dies, summon a 2/2 Forsaken Soldier, which would be undead as well. Death Rattle. Valkyr Herald's Death Rattle is give all friendly undead +1/+1.
Yep. So what do you have? You have an understated minion here, but you can put it out and do a bunch of trading and get a bunch of, 2/2s, and then, when those 2/2s die, they just come back, I guess.
Right. So basically, when she comes down, she's almost built in with Soul of the Forest, right? Everything that dies is summoning a 2/2 back. So that that ability alone is incredible. Just, the type of deck that you would put this in, obviously you'd be trying to capitalize on having a shitload of minions, like Paladin comes to mind. And you could get so much out of this. But, it's a build-around deck, so you have to invest heavily into making Valkyr Herald a win condition, which it definitely can be.
Nice lore there. Those were very present in Northrend, the Valkyr.
There were more Valkyr in Icecrown than almost anything else. Like, the Valkyr are like his primo soldiers.
Oh yeah, because they're bigger than everyone else.
Right.
So you want to bring back their corpses.
Right, exactly.
Bigger corpses, yeah.
And the whole, of course, turning like a living being into an undead, that's the whole Death Knight theme. So
yeah,
very, very heavily on point with that. All right, next we have from Roaming Otaku, the Lonely Necromancer, which is so sad but so good. 7 mana, 5/5 undead. Battle Cry. Give all your undead minions Death Rattle. Resummon this minion.
Pretty strong. Very strong effect.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also understated. So
he is also a legendary. So this is only happening once. You gotta plan for your big, basically like N'Zoth turn. I keep bringing everything back to N'Zoth because everything's Death Rattle, but that's the same kind of effect you're trying to trigger. You want to get a fully loaded board with a bunch of undead that are really good to have come back.
Yeah. There's no guarantees this is going to go off, but if it does, then it's going to be a good time.
Right, and he's lonely. He wants his friends to come back.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty great. I like that a lot. And he's collecting all of his little skulls in the artwork.
Yeah,
that's good shit. All right, thanks for that. And up next we have another legendary minion here, Anubarak, the Traitor King, which is also great lore from Icecrown. 8 mana.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, he was Anubarak was.
He was in the Northrend expansion, wasn't he?
He is from Wrath of the Lich King. He's from.
Yeah.
He's from Azjol Narub.
Yes. I didn't mean Icecrown, like specifically that raid. I meant like the Northrend stretch of the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's an 8 mana 4/5 legendary. Taunt and Battle Cry. If a friendly undead has died this turn, discover an undead with Death Rattle, and summon a copy of it immediately and trigger the Death Rattle. So there's a lot on this card, but it can be broken down pretty easily. Basically, he's got taunt, so he's kind of preventing. He's almost like tripping himself up because he's opening himself up to be killed before an undead has been killed, and he's not an undead himself, so he doesn't trigger that.
Yeah, but he is 8 mana, so
right. And it is a battle cry, so you can set it up yourself. Yeah, I was almost thinking of it as a Death Rattle for a second there. So you play him down as like a super overcosted, understated Azure Drake, kind of like that same sort of thing. But you're getting a Discover, which is generally better than drawing a card because you're picking, and you're summoning it. You're not just getting a card in your hand; it's coming straight on the battlefield, and it's triggering his Death Rattle. So you've got so much built into that it's very, very interesting card. I really like it.
Yeah, and it's not like a guarantee. So
right, yeah,
it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell if this is, underpowered, overpowered. But it is definitely very interesting.
And that's why it feels like a card that they would actually make, because we can't really make this determination about it. It's like a lot of the cards that we went through today. It's like, I'm not really sure. There could be a situation. That's exactly what they usually kind of try to strive for, right?
Yeah.
When they're designing cards. I think it's a really cool idea. And, it's kind of high rolly. You could whiff on your Discover and get something really low impact. But in general, I would try to use this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sweet
super
card.
Cool idea. All right. And as always, you are up next. That was our 6 submissions. So thanks for everyone who submitted, of course.
Good job, guys.
We always put our own creations up there, rise to our own challenge, and yours is up first there.
All right. So for one thing, I I kind of feel like if there's room for another Paladin Legendary in this expansion, I don't know how many Legendaries they're doing, but I feel like they might make another Tyrion. Mm-hmm. If there's only going to be the one Legendary, then it's Bolvar, and that's it. But we'll see. But anyway, Tyrion like definitely is like a huge part of the Icecrown raid, and he basically leads your raid through it.
Yeah, he and Arthas are like bantering the whole time.
Yeah, they're just like yelling at each other the whole time. It's great, fucking awesome. So I wanted to make another Tyrion, and a little bit more of an aggressive, undead smiting Tyrion, and I also wanted to give him some of that sweet divine shield synergy that we've been seeing this whole time.
Yeah.
So he is a 6-mana, 6/5 charge divine shield. And before you say that's broken as fuck, he has Battle Cry, can only attack undead minions this turn. So he comes out, he can smite the shit out of some undead minion if there's one on the board.
Right.
If not, he's a 6-mana, 6/5 divine shield.
Which is totally respectable.
For a legendary, that's, that's fine. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, no Ashbringer when he dies, which, I mean, with the charge ability, definitely that's balanced. I like it.
Yeah, he just, he comes out, and if they have an undead, then they don't have an undead anymore.
Yep.
And he doesn't have a divine shield anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, it's, he's meant to smite a thing, and if not, then he's just a solid minion.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if there's no undead around, then he takes a coffee break and he chills out.
Yeah. So, there's my and that art is just awesome.
That's pretty incredible. Is that his normal helmet? That looks totally different to me. It's like
that is the armor that's the armor that he wears when
that's really cool.
In the Wrath of the Lich King expansion when he's going through Icecrown with you, that's what he wears.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yep.
I like it.
That's Paladin tier 10.
You can always count on you to be on point with your lore.
And it's remember how there were 3 versions of the tier gear depending on if you did it on like heroic 10-man, heroic 25-man.
Yeah.
Yeah, etc. That's the best one. That's the heroic 25-man.
Oh, nice.
Because the coloration was gold and blue. It was the most paladin looking one. All the other ones looked dumb and shitty.
That's what they did to you with color schemes. Like all the armor would be the same. It was like, why is it so badly colorized?
Well, the thing about this one is it's paladin armor, but it's covered in skulls.
Yeah.
And the only thing that made up for that was the gold and blue coloring.
Right.
So
well, it's covered in skulls because it's like, representing like the whole undead thing. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, and
let's see your card.
Last, I came up with a rogue spell called Stitch. It's 3 mana. Destroy. So you target a friendly minion. I don't know if I worded this right. I'll just read it how it says. Destroy minions adjacent to targeted friendly undead minion. So you have to target an undead minion, and your friendly minions that are adjacent to that will die. That minion gains the death rattles of any minions destroyed. So, like, I'll just set up, like, the perfect world scenario. You've got 2 Jade Swarmers, 2 relatively low-impact death rattle cards that are bordering an undead minion that you have. You throw Stitch onto your undead minion. It automatically kills your Jade Swarmers, triggering their death rattles, getting Jades, and combining their death rattles onto the undead minion, which probably already has his own, which means when he dies, he'll summon 2 Jade Golems. So you've stitched together like an incredible Aya Blackpaw, essentially.
Yeah.
It just takes their death rattles. It doesn't take their any other effects that they might have, Divine Shield or their power and toughness, none of that. It's just if they have death rattles, you're just trying to put those together. So I don't know if it's balanced or not.
It's a strange, interesting card.
Yeah.
Definitely, I didn't even think about the Jade synergy when you first showed me this. But the Jade thing is very powerful with this. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you know that is definitely a perfect world example because you don't really care that you're sacrificing 1/1s when this happens. But in general,
but it could
destroying
be a Ravasaur egg.
Yeah, there's another great example. I didn't even think of that. Jeez.
And this also makes positioning matter like fuck.
Yeah, you have to worry about your own positioning for your spell, rather than if like your opponent rogue is gonna like betrayal you or your opponent mage is gonna meteor you. You got to set it up for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's mine.
It's cool. I like it.
Thanks, man. I spent a while looking for that like, you wouldn't think it'd be that hard to find like a crazy monster that's like stitched together from other things, but it really took me a while.
Oh, that was actually that art right there is one of the first things I found when I was looking for art.
I kind of.
That's when I said. That's when I was like, maybe you could use like a Phyrexian for Magic.
I think this is from Magic, by the way.
Yeah, I believe it is.
I think I've used Magic card art a couple times at this point.
Yeah, Magic art's great.
So, this is that point in the show where I have to come up with next week's challenge.
Oh shit, you do.
Which, usually involves like stalling for time because we're never prepared. Let's see.
Well, thank you all so much for watching or listening and being here. If you're here live with us, as Phil thinks of the next challenge. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you give us 5 stars on iTunes and whatever positive feedback you can give on whatever platform you're on. It's always appreciated. You can follow us at Salty Dog Podcast on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at DookieShed, spelled just like it sounds. Clashes is at Clash_HS. Clash is spelled KLASHE. And with that,
I'm ready.
Hopefully, we'll give you the next card challenge.
So all of this talk about Death Rattle has me thinking about my long lost love that was rotated out of standard play, even though she was supposed to be evergreen. Sylvanas Bay, I miss you. One thing that I've always really dug in this game, and it's no surprise because I like to play priests so much, is effects that allow you to take something from your opponent's board. And Sylvanas has been one of the only viable cards we ever had that was a permanent steal effect like that. Yeah. So, Mind Control, barely ever playable. And MC Tech has seen spotty play, and then you've just got the temporary ones like Potion of Madness, Shadow Madness. My challenge is for whatever class you want, neutral, I don't care, whatever it is, make a card that steals something from your opponent's board. Make it as creative as you can. Something that would be really fun and interactive. Those keywords.
Theft.
Theft. Let's make some greedy stealing cards.
Grand larceny. All right.
So that'll do it, and we will post the rules once again in the show notes. And I guess
can we steal from their board, or can we steal from their hand, or can we steal from their deck?
You have to take. All right, I'm not gonna say from deck. I will say, okay, it has to take the card physically from them. I don't want to copy, no thought steal kind of stuff. It can be from their board or from their hand, but I want the card to come away from your opponent and become yours, not a copy.
Okay.
All right. Got it.
All
right. So looking forward to what we get next week. And thank you for everybody who's listening and everybody who turned out for the live stream. Really appreciate it. But that does it for the show today. So until next week, stay salty.
Stay salty.